Hello and welcome. Today I wanted to talk about a subject that I'm working on in my current game, Thrall. I'm just going to be doing some playtesting while I'm doing this, and I want to talk about experience and leveling systems. So the way that RPG Maker typically handles experience is that you have a base experience stat and then an inflation. And what I've found is that the way that RPG Maker handles that is a little bit not great, in my opinion. And all I mean by that is if you have the highest possible base stat and then the highest possible inflation, you will rapidly increase the amount of experience you need to level up until about level 20 to 25, at which point the amount of experience you need to level up only increases by a very marginal amount from level to level. It very quickly deteriorates the inflation. Now, I actually just finished recreating a custom script for handling experience and leveling, and I wanted to go into explaining how that all works because I'm pretty happy with it, and I feel like it's going to add a little bit more to this game in the long run. So how this works, as you can see, I just finished this encounter here, and Lionel, Mel, and Damien each received experience from that encounter. That experience is determined by how many enemies were killed, and here's the thing. Enemies in this game scale to your level, which means it's not actually taking the experience that those enemies get as assigned by the database, but there's a script that actually determines how much experience they give. And I want to just kind of talk about how that's determined. So the way that experience is calculated in this game now is that at the start of the game, you start with a set amount of experience. That's just kind of designed to help you get through the prologue. By the end of the prologue, you should be level 3. But how this works is that in order to reach level 1, you need 130 experience. From there, every level after, you need 10% more experience than what you needed for the previous level. So for example, to reach level 2, you would need 10% more than what you needed to reach... to reach level 3, you'd need 10% more experience than what you needed to reach level 2. If you needed 130 experience to reach level 2, then you would need 10% more than that. So 10% of 130 is 13. So you'd need 130 plus 13, you'd need 143 experience to reach level 3. And so on and so forth. You'd need 10% more than 143 to reach level 4, etc., etc. Now, that's just the base experience curve. Now, that expands out all the way up to level 99. And while it seems very gradual at first, by level 99, you need around 500,000 experience to actually get to max level. Now, there is more to it than that, though. The way that this game calculates how much experience enemies give is based on their level. So, what this game does is it takes enemy levels, and it takes the average party level, and it determines the experience gain based on that. So, for example, if you are, let's say, level 19, and you're going to level 20, what this game will do is it will take the amount of experience you need to reach level 20, the minimum total experience you need to reach level 20, and it takes the minimum total experience you need to reach level 19, and it subtracts those two numbers. So that gives you the amount of experience you need to go from level 19 to level 20. What the game will then do is it will divide that number by 15 plus the average party level divided by 3. So what that does is for every 3 levels that you gain, you have to kill one more enemy to gain a level over the previous set of levels. So for example, by dividing it by 15, you're basically saying this is the total amount of experience I need to reach the next level. I'm going to divide it by 15, and now I need to beat 15 enemies to reach that level. And then by adding 1 to that modifier for every 3 party levels, you're basically saying that, by level 9 divided by 3 is 3, so 15 plus 3 is 18. It divides that experience pool by 18 now instead of 15, so you need to kill 18 enemies to gain a level. In this way, the experience actually you need to defeat more enemies to gain levels at higher levels. However, in addition to that, there is one other component, and that is over-leveling. So, for example, right now I am level 15, I'm almost level 16, and I'm facing enemies that are level 15. However, these enemies can only scale up to level 15 in this particular dungeon. After level 15, once I get to level 16, these enemies will stay at level 15. They will not scale any higher than that. Now, the problem with this is that I don't want players grinding out experience against low-level enemies, because all you gain from level ups is either an HP boost or skill points. Well, you gain both, but that's all you gain. You don't actually gain any other stat increases. The only way you increase your stats in this game is by equipping different types of armors or weapons. So, to prevent players from grinding out experience against low-level enemies, and in turn actually making enemies in later dungeons stronger because they will then scale to that new level even though you don't have any higher stats, what this game does is it introduces an experience decay. What that experience decay does is for every level above the enemy's average for every... how do I say this? It takes the average party level, and for every level above the enemy level that level is, the experience is cut in half. So, for example, this will be a very good example right here. Mel just gained a level and she is now at level 16. But Lionel and Damien are both still at level 15. So I'm going to finish this fight and I'm going to show you how much experience the party members get. All these enemies are still level 15, but Mel is level 16. So after defeating these enemies, you can see that Lionel and Damien both gained 72 experience, but Mel only gained 39. That's because she's level 16, the enemies are level 15, so the experience she gained from them is cut in half. The reason she's getting a little bit more than half is because she has a bonus XP armor equipped right now, but it only increases the bonus XP based off of the experience she would have gained. So now that everyone is level 16, just want to make sure auto kill is off. If I turn auto kill on, because I am now over leveled, touching an enemy will instantly kill them. This allows you to go through low level dungeons or under level dungeons very quickly without wasting time with encounters that don't really give you anything. But if you turn auto kill off, you can still get into encounters. And what this will do now, every enemy is level 15, even though the allies themselves are level 16, so they are no longer scaling to your level. They've scaled to the max level of the dungeon. And now when killing an enemy, every party member only receives half the experience they normally would have. So in this way, it prevents prevents players from grinding out against low level enemies and only finding equipment at that level. Certain chests will give higher level loot, but usually no more than one level above the max level of that dungeon. So in this way, it encourages players to move on to the next dungeon, to move on to the next challenge, instead of grinding out against lower level enemies in older dungeons. And that's really all there is to experience gain and experience leveling in this game. I actually had to completely rewrite the way that experience is calculated and awarded in this game. I had to completely go against what the default ARM VX engine gives you. But I feel like this is a way that keeps experience a little bit more gradual throughout the game without necessarily without having a massive spike or trail in early or late levels. It keeps it gradual and keeps it so that it's a little bit more manageable and predictable. So anyway, that's how experience is calculated in Thrall. I just kind of wanted to share this with you. Hope you're having a great day, and I will see you next time.